You've had the experience. You make a small mistake, a typo in an email, a slightly awkward comment, and the voice shows up. Why did you do that? You should have known better. Look what you did. The mistake is minor. No one else noticed or cared. But the voice doesn't care about scale. It speaks with the same intensity whether you forgot someone's name or failed a major exam. And it speaks in your voice, which is why it's so hard to ignore. This is the inner critic, not your conscience, not your intuition, that part of you that doesn't just evaluate your actions, it attacks your worth, and you're not alone in hearing it. Research shows that the average person has tens of thousands of thoughts per day, and a significant portion are self-critical. For many, the inner critic is the most consistent voice they hear, louder, more persistent, and more believable than any external feedback. But where does this voice come from, and why is it so hard to turn off? Psychologists trace the inner critic to early development. As children, we internalize the voices around us, parents, teachers, peers, before we have the capacity to filter or question them. A well-meaning parent who says, "Try harder," can become a voice that says, "You're not trying hard enough." A teacher who points out a mistake can become a voice that says, "You're always making mistakes." The critic is not born. It is built, layer by layer, year by year, from the words and tones and expectations of the people who shaped your early world. And because it was built when you were young, it speaks with the authority of someone who has known you forever. Because in a way, it has. But here's what most people don't realize. The inner critic is not the truth. It is a survival strategy. It believes that if it keeps you small, keeps you striving, keeps you anxious about every mistake, you will be safer. You will try harder. You will not be rejected, abandoned, or overlooked. The critic is trying to protect you. It is just doing so with tactics that no longer serve you. The most disorienting thing about the inner critic is how much it sounds like you. You can dismiss external criticism, but when the voice is in your own head, wearing your own tone, using your own vocabulary, it feels like truth. This is why people who are high achieving often have the loudest inner critics. They have internalized the message that their worth is conditional on performance. And the critic is simply repeating that message over and over, long after the external source has gone silent. So how do you begin to quiet the critic without becoming passive or indifferent? The first step is separation. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that notices them. When the critic speaks, practice stepping back and observing the voice rather than merging with it. Instead of, "I am such a failure," shift to, "I am noticing that I am having the thought that I am a failure." This small linguistic shift creates space. And in that space, you have a choice. You do not have to believe everything you think. The second step is curiosity. Ask the critic what it's afraid will happen if you don't listen. Often the answer reveals the critic's true intention: protection. I don't want you to be rejected. I don't want you to be embarrassed. I don't want you to feel that pain again. Hearing the fear beneath the criticism softens the voice. It is not an enemy. It is a misguided guardian. The third step is gentle reparenting. What would you say to a friend who made the same mistake? You would not say, "You're so stupid." You would say, "You're human. It's okay. You'll do better next time." The inner child, the part of you that still holds those early messages, needs to hear that same compassion from the adult you are now. This is not about silencing the critic. It is about integrating it. The critic has valuable information about your values, your standards, and the things you care about. It just needs to learn how to deliver that information without the shame and the volume. Over time, with practice, the voice softens. It still speaks, but now you can hear the concern beneath the criticism, and you can choose whether to act on it. Thank it for its input, or let it pass. You are not your mistakes. You are not your worst thoughts. And you are certainly not the voice that has been rehearsing your failures for longer than you can remember. That voice was built to protect a version of you that no longer exists. The person you are now has other resources: self-compassion, perspective, and the capacity to separate what you did from who you are. The inner critic may never fully disappear, but it can learn to whisper instead of shout. And when it does, you will finally hear the other voices that have been waiting in the silence. The one that says you're enough, the one that says you're learning, the one that says you're allowed to be human. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment below. And if you want more reflections on how your mind works, consider subscribing. You're not alone in this, you never were.